In the summer, I really like to take some time to really think about slowing down and being intentional and painting just for myself. And I often talk about painting in my sketchbook and your sketchbooks being just for you, and just taking some time to be really mindful about the time we spend painting. And it doesn't always have to be a masterpiece. It can be just for you and just because you want to be creating something. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be for yourself. And so I think that today I'm going to be working in my sketchbook, and I am going to go in without a plan and just paint. So I don't know if you've ever felt like however much time you have, you seem to never be able to catch up. So the more you feel like that, you start listing things, and you have to write yourself little lists of all the essential things you have to do, and then your goals that you want to do, and there's people you want to visit and things you want to see and people you want to spend time with, and it just seems so overwhelming. Everything piles up, and then eventually you're so overwhelmed that nothing gets done. So I've brought a lot of mindfulness practice into my artwork, and art in and of itself is mindful, just because when you're really engaged in the process, you're not really thinking of anything else. And it's kind of really suited to a mindfulness practice, because once you're really engaged, you're not really thinking about anything else. And so time slips away, you kind of lose track of time. And so it really is a mindfulness practice. So the more you do it, the more you can lose yourself into it. And so instead of looking back or ahead, I've really decided to spend some more time being mindful about being focused in the moment, on the now, and not thinking in the past or the future. And even doing it for a short time each day is a good plan. Working in my sketchbook is kind of perfect for this. And I often talk about how the sketchbooks are just that for us. They don't have to be perfect or full of perfect museum quality work. They can be for fun, for working out ideas, for play, experiments, or just because you feel like creating something or you want to paint something. If you have no ideas at all, you can still paint. You can just put down a color and say, what color do I want to see, or what color do I want to work with, and then paint another color and say, what color would look good next to the color I just painted, and then what color do I want to put next to that one, with no planning. And then before you know it, you're painting. So you have like a color and a color and a color, and then started out with just a color block, and before you know it, you have an abstract going. Don't worry about things being correct or right, or if things go together. Just let it happen and evolve. Don't worry about things being proportionate or correct or being the right size or proportion. Being mindful and bringing mindfulness into your daily practice is not only a good way for you to connect with your art, but it'll carry over into your life. We can't change the past, So letting go of old regrets and living in the present and letting things blow through us like a gentle breeze instead of hanging on to them like a heavy weight. Especially now in this time when life seems to be speeding by at the speed of light. Take the time to slow down and live in the moment. Give yourself permission to let your art and your life unfold a mark and stroke at a time. Leave the end result open to chance. On this channel, I share process and tips from my own art practice. I never want to forget to share how healing art can be. So much of what an art practice can bring to your life is just creating for yourself and sitting down with yourself to make something that feels satisfying and engages your soul. Making art calms your mind and everything else drops away. It doesn't matter what you make or even really what it looks like. The process of creating is where the magic happens. When you sit down at your art table, you can reconnect with yourself, and that is the true gift of tapping into your creativity. So sit down without a plan and just play. Use your paints, markers, crayons, pastels, collage, or any materials you feel called to use and allow yourself to be guided. The more you tap into your creative intuition, the more you will tap into the flow state and mindfulness. I love sharing my process and what works for me. I hope that by sharing what I do in my own practice, it will help others on a similar creative journey. Art has always been a constant in my life, and since I did it for so long and over my entire lifetime, I did not realize what a calming influence it had on me until I was much older and much more aware. To say that it has had a profound effect is an understatement. And in much the way that some people use a daily journal, I have done daily painting and drawing since I was quite young. And I think that if I did not have that outlet, it would have been really difficult for me at different times of my life. I've just always painted and done drawing and painting and have had a sketchbook practice for many years, much in the way people keep a daily journal. For other people who don't like to write and who can't express well in words, art can be a way to process. You don't always have to explain things in words when color and line will do the work for you. Coming away from this work leaves me in a clearer headspace and warmed up for more serious work with more organized thoughts, feelings, and feeling revived. I hope you will try it and have the same experience. So in both of these intuitive, abstracted paintings, I started with my Gansai Tambi watercolors. They're Japanese watercolors. They're not really like regular watercolor at all. They are a whole different material. I mean, you can peel them out of the thing and they're very rubbery, but as soon as you add water to them, they're these really creamy, luscious, kind of semi-opaque watercolors. I feel like they're more gouache-like, but they're not like regular watercolors. They're a different composition. I don't even know what's in them. But they're beautiful. They come in beautiful colors. They're not super expensive, but I absolutely adore them. So Gansai is definitely a little bit different than regular watercolors, but I do love them and recommend them. So I use them in my sketchbook a lot. I use them to paint with sometimes. I don't feel like they travel well because they come in a cardboard box and you can't really snap a top on them, so they're like a little bit they run sometimes, so I don't like to take them with me. I use them mostly in the studio because of that reason. I have tried to take them with me, and it's been a big fail. But I love them anyway. And then in the first one, I strictly used those. I do like the fact that you can paint and cover over and layer with them. As long as the under layers are dry, you can do that, which I love about them. And in the second one, I have gone over my color black painting, and it is dry when I started this, with Neo Color 1. And Neo Color 1 is the one that is not water soluble. I have both, and I love both. So Neo Color 1 is very richly and deeply pigmented artist crayon, and they're just really lovely. They come in beautiful colors. They go right over paint. They'll go right over acrylic paint. I've used them in acrylic paintings, over paint. They're an artist quality crayon that I've used many, many times in my finished work, and I just really love them. So if I want something that's not going to move, I use Neo Color 1. If you're only in Neo Color or anything by Cran d'Ache is very high quality. They're a little pricey. Everything by this brand is a little pricey, but they're worth it. And because they last forever, and they are artist quality products, and you can just see the richness of color that you get with them when you really start drawing with them. You get really great coverage with the colors. They last a very, very long time. I mean, some of the ones I have are probably over 10 years old, and I still have, they're still really usable, and you get so much use out of them. It's ridiculous. They don't really wear out. But they're fabulous. I just adore them. If I was only going to get one, you'd obviously get the Neo Color 2, because you can color with them like this, and they're also water soluble. But I tend to like these sometimes as much, because when I don't want something to accidentally move, I like these because they're not gonna smudge if they get wet or damp or for any other reason. These won't move accidentally, and they come in the same colors, and they're just fabulous. I just love them. They blend really nicely, and the coverage is amazing. It goes right over paint. It goes right over acrylic paint. I think they're a fabulous product. I also enjoy a lot of their other products. I really love Cran d'Ache. I like their Neo pastels. Their oil pastels are wonderful as well. I like their super soft pencils. Colored pencils are wonderful. They have some really great high quality art materials in general. One of my very favorite brands. So while I was playing in my sketchbook, I was really not thinking about this or anything I was doing, and I ended up really liking this second painting on the left so much. I love the way it was really free, and I loved all the colors, and how everything came together in the end. And I was just really playing with just the colors, and I very often will start with just these color blocks and then just see what happens. And a lot of times when I start with a colored background, it's to see how the colors react with the colors in the color block, and it's it can be really surprising, because there's no there's no pressure for anything to work out, because this is in my sketchbook and it doesn't have to go anywhere. I have to really, I don't have to show this to anyone. I don't even have to show it to you if I don't want to. And I was really happy with how it came out, and I love the way the colors all work together, and I just loved it. I ended up really loving it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. I had a great time painting. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because it really does help my channel grow, and I do appreciate it so much. I really thank you for being here, and I please invite you to come back again soon. Thanks for being here.